Today is early spring. It's March 15th, but it's just starting to warm up, and we can already see some examples of the new growth on this very prolific tree. So as far as I can tell, this is all false turkey tail, different species of it. You can see the diversity within the genus Spirium. See this tan, brown, it's white and gray, this reddish color, and some orange ones. Some of these have grown larger, and some of them are just still starting to pop out. So this is the nature of spring, and it's going all the way up and down this log. So hopefully today you'll see many more things like that, of the new life, new mushrooms growing. The insects are going to start coming out. We already heard some spring peepers chirping, but I don't think we're going to be able to find those today since they live up in trees. So yeah, today is just all about all the new life that we could find after winter. Hello there, we're over here exploring nature with Rayleigh, and we stumbled across this tree that's growing here. It's a nice log next to it, and you can see it has this gelatinous fungus growing on it. There's some growing on this log and on the tree a little bit here, and it's a gelatinous fungus that is irregularly shaped and it forms these flower-like patterns. And so I was thinking, it's been a while since I've seen these spring and summer mushrooms over winter, so I'm a little bit rusty. I think that it might either be witch's butter or jelly ear fungus, but I'll get back with you. It'll be really easy for me to figure out. I just can't remember right now. But yeah, either way, these are polypores that you can't really see the pores on them, but they're there over on this underside. This is the fertile surface. You might be able to see little tiny pores. But yeah, it has this veiny-like appearance. It's all ruffled, and it's dark brown color. It will produce white spores if I did a spore print. But yeah, these things are edible fungus, and they're a household favorite of ours. They have a very gelatinous texture and not much flavor, so you can flavor them up whatever dish that you're making. So yeah, here's this edible fungus. Some type of gelatinous fungus, witch's butter or jelly ear. Okay, so earlier I was a little conflicted over whether those mushrooms were jelly fungus or witch's butter, but I think I've come to the conclusion that they're jelly fungus, and I think I found some actual witch's butter right here. This one is a much darker black, and the shape is a little bit different. They can get to those ear-shaped things as they get older, but when they're younger, but there's still more rounded like this. And then when they're especially younger, then they'll be orange instead of black. So this is witch's butter. All right, over here on this nice dead log, we got some new growth going all along here and all the way down. If you first see it, it reminds me of a bracket fungus because it's got this semicircular shape growing out of wood. But if you turn it over, it actually has gills that are brown in color, and they go all the way down to the stem. So this is called an oysterling. That is a genus of mushrooms, but the particular species is hard to know. Probably a pale oysterling or a bitter oysterling. And so when you hear the word oysterling, you might get excited. It reminds you of an oyster mushroom, and you think that it's edible. And it would be really nice if these are edible because they grow in huge groups. You could get a nice hearty harvest out of this. But unfortunately, these are poisonous. They will give you stomach upset if you eat them. So they're just fun to look at, but not to eat. These are the oysterling mushrooms. Hello. We stumbled upon this fallen log with these little, looks like deflated balloons. These are called stump puffballs. You might think that they don't look like puffballs, but when they're younger, they do look like balls. They're circular shaped like a balloon, and they have these scales on them. You can see the scales here. But then when they get older, the tissue that's inside them produces a bunch of spores, and then all the spores exit from the puffball, leaving these deflated balloons. So if I open one of them, I could see the leftover stuff, some extra dark brown spores that didn't come out yet, and the excess tissue. And if I just, do that, you could see some of the spores dust coming out. So if these were fresh and young, they would be edible. If you see a puffball that's actually in the ball shape and not like this, the way you know that it's edible is if you cut it in half, and if the flesh is white on the inside, then it's edible. If it's green or brown or gray or anything like that, then that means that it's already gotten too old and it's not going to taste good. So hopefully I'll be able to provide you a real world example in a future video of what a younger puffball looks like. Alright, I know I said I would wait till a future video to show the different stages of puffballs, but we've actually found some that are in a different condition. So this is what they look like when they're still not edible. They look quite old, but they're not deflated yet either. They still have their spores in them. You can see that some of them has come out because of this hole, but there's still some in there you can squeeze out. No, I don't want to squeeze that right into Rayleigh's face. Sorry, Rayleigh. But yeah, these are really fun to play with. Squeeze out the spores. And then over here, something that you notice is this white thing over here, the white mushroom. And it's very decayed and stuff. We really have no way of knowing, but to me, from what I've seen, it just looks like an old decayed chicken of the woods, which is a mushroom that we haven't talked about yet. But hopefully one day we will, and this is what it looks like when it gets really old and decayed. Alright, so as some people know, mushrooms work to decompose dead plants. But when the mushroom dies, who decomposes the mushroom? Well, we can see a wonderful example right here. These two mushrooms got old and fell off of this log. And you can see the wonderful ecosystem that is living on it. So there's some slugs. Slugs like to eat mushrooms. These are roly-polies, or woodlouse. And then there's some small beetles. There are plenty of different types of beetles that like to feed specifically on fungus. I couldn't tell you exactly what type these are. But yeah, it's a wonderful ecosystem here. And if you look at this one, it's not really much presently on there, but you can see the evidence of a slug on here. It's slime trail left, and within the cracks there's even some more beetles, if I can show that. Can you see it? So, the next time you bite, oh, here's a centipede too. You see it? So, the next time you bite into a delicious mushroom meal, just have this image in your mind of all the insects crawling through it. Because this is how it is in nature. Alright, we're over by the creek, our favorite place. Really over here looking for frogs. She already found some, the first spring frogs. But she's not so good at catching them. So hopefully we'll be able to take a closer look at some frogs today. Find any, Brady? Alright, so we found our first frog of the spring, right, Rayleigh? She loves frogs. So we'll take a closer look at this. So you see, it's quite small, and it's green. Uh-oh, Rayleigh. Hang on, Rayleigh. Don't catch it, please. Oh, Rayleigh. Hang on, Rayleigh. Rayleigh, don't catch it in your mouth. Hang on. I'll get it back. Oh, it's going on the river. Okay. Thank you for your help, Rayleigh. Alright, I'll talk about this real snappy. So, what I wanted to say was, now that it's all muddy again, it's green. I don't know if you can see, it has these little ridges that run down its back. This type of frog is called a green frog, which it's not very creatively named, but that's alright. Ray's still looking for it. But yeah, there's two types of frogs that look pretty similar. There's this green frog, and then there's the American bullfrog. The way to tell the difference is the green frog is a lot smaller, but once again, it has this ridge behind its eye, and it runs down its back. If it was a bullfrog, the ridge would run down and wrap around its ear. And another thing about green frogs and bullfrogs is that you could tell the sex of it by looking at its ears. So if you see this one, the ear is about the same size as her eye, which means that this is a female. And if it was a male, then the ear would be significantly bigger than the eye. So this is the green frog. We'll let it be now and let it go. Want to see it go away from you? It's gonna go back home, okay? Don't lick it, please. Alright, ready? Going back home, Brayden. She's not gonna find it again. Okay. It's swimming down there, but Brayden's not gonna find it. Do you see it? Oh. Well, it's going home. Alright, have a nice night. It's gone, Brayden. That was our... Alright, over there, you can see what I was talking about, the difference between the green frog and the American bullfrog, as well as male and female. Now right over there is a big male. I'm going to try and catch it, but just in case I can't, I just want to be able to see the differences before I start. So you can see the ridge that is behind his eye. It wraps around his ear instead of going down his back. And you can see his ear is much bigger than his eye. So I'm going to go down and try and catch it. Wish me luck. Oh, Brady, stay. Stay, stay, Brady. Oh, and there he goes. Well, what's a shot? Thank you for helping me catch it, Brayden. You're all gone now. Well, I showed you what I wanted to show you, so that's fine. Alright, so right in front of me is another frog to show the differences. This one, you can see the ridge that goes from her eye and wraps around her ear. So that is an American bullfrog. And you look at her ear, it's about the same size as her eye. So this is a female American bullfrog. Alright, we're over here trying to navigate how to get across this water. We've all chosen different paths. But as I was crossing this log, I noticed this beautiful mushroom over here. I've made a video about oyster mushrooms before, but they're very old. And these ones are newer, so you can see the characteristics better. So here they are growing out of a log. And they have gills on the underside that run down all the way to the stem, to the insertion point. So yeah, these are oyster mushrooms. They're edible. And some early spring oyster mushrooms.
So over in the corner I had found a leopard frog, which was quite unusual for this area because leopard frogs typically like to live in areas where there's a lot of vegetation, and there wasn't much here. So my hypothesis is that this leopard frog had probably lived up in the cliffs where there's more vegetation and fallen off and gotten hurt. That's why he's so easy to catch and lethargic in this. As I bring him up, you can see that he actually has a broken leg. So that's unfortunate for him. I'm sorry to bother him, but he's probably going to end up being food for the birds anyways. So this is a leopard frog. They have green or brown colors, northern leopard frog, and they have these large spots on their back that they're covered in. Some morphs of this actually don't have spots, but that's more the way to tell the northern leopard frog from other types of leopard frogs because their spots are larger. And then there's another type of leopard frog called the plains leopard frog, and the difference between that is that you have this white line running down their back and it runs all the way down without breaking. In the plains leopard frog, the line will break right near its hind legs. So this is the northern leopard frog.
Alright, over here by this log, we have something that might look familiar. This is the oak maize gill. This is what it looks like when it's very young. It's just starting to grow in. This is more spring, new growth.
Over on this log over here, you see a cluster of small orange jelly-like mushrooms. So I believe that these probably belong to the genus Dacrylomyces, which is different types of jelly-like fungus that are orange and blob-like like this. But I couldn't tell you for sure. These are likely just some type of Dacrylomyces fungus. And I just wanted to end off the video with a video of me trying and failing to catch a frog with Brady. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and will enjoy the next videos coming up.